Welcome back, super creators. Anna here, and today we're talking about how to paint white hair. I was a little bit surprised to learn people actually want to know how to paint white hair specifically, but at the same time, not really, because painting white objects is one of the more complicated things to paint. So unless you're creating a 2D illustration on which you can definitely slap on some white color for the hair and make it look amazing, unless you're doing that and you actually want to paint white hair, therefore render it, you need this video. I learned this idea from my painting professor in art school. He wasn't really talking about white hair specifically. More so, he was talking about the air color or the atmospheric color of things. So for example, if you're outdoors and there is beautiful blue sky shining on you, some of your colors and hues will be affected by that blue color and therefore will invade your colors. The same goes to as there's yellow light in your room, everything's gonna look more yellow. So that's kind of like the atmospheric color of a specific light source, which could also be blue or purple, whatever light source you're using. But at the same time, it could be the surrounding color. So for example, if I'm standing in front of white wall, there's not going to be any effect really. But if I'm standing beside a blue wall or pink wall or whatnot, my colors will have a tint of that blue or pink, you know? Now that I think about it, I actually have a few lessons on learn.yourartpath.com for my Patreons that go in more depth about it. And I even took some pictures with the sculpture that I made to show how the colors affect your subject. And that's important because for painting white hair, we're going to need this because white hair is so reflective. It's going to really depend on your atmospheric or air color. So to explain it better, I went ahead and took a few photos from unsplash.com where people have white hair and they're in different surroundings. And if we color pick the shadows, midtone, and the highlights of those people, we'll see that none of them are actually white. Surprise, surprise! I also went and found a bunch of paintings, amazing paintings, from Pinterest of people with white hair. And surprise, surprise! Those paintings as well don't have white colors because in order to paint white believably, it has to have some hues depending on the air color, the surrounding color, whatever color you want to call it. So now that I've hopefully convinced you that you don't need white to paint white color, let's see how the surrounding, the air color affects our hair. What I'm going to do now is go back to the same photographs and pick the air color from there. And you will probably see that if the air color is warm and bright and yellow, for example, the same color will be shown in the shadows, midtones, and highlights of your white hair. The same idea goes to if it's a blue, cool color. That same effect will have on the hair. It will have more bluish tones. And knowing this will help you create fantasy paintings more believably. Remembering the air color is going to be a life changer. It's just gonna level you up, level up your paintings by so much. It's crazy. What I did here is I created a sketch of a girl and then I duplicated it 3 times and added different hairstyle to each. For your practice, you can use the same sketch, but I just wanted to make it a bit more fun, so I made 3 different ones. And now that I have all 3 of them ready, I'm going to render the skin and again duplicate it. So I have a starting point. I don't need to re-render the skin all the time. What I will need to do though is then take the air color and adjust the skin color a little bit to make sure it matches the air color. But that's about it. Now, when it comes to hair, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick 3 of the swatches that we have, okay? And then we're going to use those color palettes to create our fantasy artwork. So these are the 3 that I picked, and I'm going to go ahead and add the air color first. That will be my main thing because I want to see how that color will affect every single other color. And then we already have the shadows, we have the midtones, and we have the highlights. So in my case, how I like to work is I like to work from the big picture first. So if you squint your eyes a little bit, you will see that everything divides basically into shadows, midtones, and highlights. I suggest you start with shadows, you can start with midtones, you can start with whatever you like. Coming from a more traditional background, I prefer starting with shadows. So that's what I do. I block in the shadows. I just block in those big shapes, get them nice and ready. And then instead of going straight to the midtone, sometimes I do that. And sometimes I like to take a color that's a little bit darker than a midtone, start there, then add the midtone. That's something a little bit lighter than a midtone, right? And then when we get into highlights, the same idea kind of applies. I like to have at least two lightness values, different values for the highlights. So I would have a highlight and then our super highlight. Okay, and that's kind of the idea. Another thing to think about while you're doing this, after you block in those big shapes to get yourself ready, think about the flow of hair. So hair starts at the roots and then it falls down because, gravity. So we need to think about that as well. And every time you draw hair, think about kind of like, what is the direction that it's flowing and follow that direction. So in the case of my hair, it's super straight. And how I would do it is I would go up because it goes up from the head, then it goes slightly to the side angled, and then it goes down. And that's how I would do my brush strokes. And depending on the hair, you're just kind of following that general idea of hair coming off of the head and then going down. It could be super voluminous or it could be super straight. It's really depending on the hairstyle, but that's kind of the idea. So another tip I can give you that I got in university is that when you're painting, try to imagine you touching that surface. So when you're painting the hair and then you're not sure if it's working or not, imagine you sliding your hand and going down the hair. Do you believe that that's the shape, or is it kind of weird and you meant it to be straight? Just imagining you interacting with the thing you're painting will help you make better decisions in the future. A very quick announcement to tell you that you should smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also, if there's something you actually want to learn from me or want me to talk about, leave a comment down below so I can make a video for you. So understanding this hair color is so crucial. You're gonna thank me later if you truly get it, because watching this video will set you up for success. It will not give you success, but it will set you up for success so that when you go practicing, you already have more information than you had before. And now you're more likely to grow your skills way faster. And that's kind of the whole point of this YouTube channel. I just want to create videos that will inspire you or make you cringe, or hopefully make you learn something useful so that you can improve your digital art skills faster, because I think everybody can learn to paint, okay? Everybody can learn to draw and paint. You just need a bit of knowledge, a bit of inspiration, a bit of practice, combine those together, and voila, you're growing as an artist every day. So I urge you to go ahead and actually practice everything that we've talked about here. Practice drawing hair, practice painting hair, the white hair, think about the hair colors, get the references, do color picking yourself so you understand it more. Go through the process that I went to from start to finish, and I promise you, you'll come out with new skills or bits of information that you didn't even know you could get, and also that I couldn't convey in this video because, personal experience is so much more powerful. By the way, these brushes that I'm using right now, plus this PSD file of the hair here, as well as many other tutorials, PSD files, and time lapses are available for my patrons at patreon.com/yourartpath. And you can also check out everything that's included in my Patreon at learn.yourartpath.com. I hope you do check it out and get the brushes for yourself if you find them interesting. But if not, use whatever brushes you want, whatever software you want. It's really up to you. This whole point of this video is to get you to think about the hair color and atmospheric color in your future paintings. So these are the 3 finished paintings. They all are white in color. They do have a little bit of different tints to each other. At the end of the day, I really did enjoy this process. I enjoyed reminding myself about the hair color, and I hope that you've learned something useful in this video. Also, let me know which one of the 3 do you like the most. I do have my personal favorites, so I'm just curious to see if they match up with yours. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. Consider subscribing for more content like this. And before you go, check out these 2 playlists.